Good afternoon, everybody, for one more webinar with a special topic about Ayurveda and autoimmune disorders. And it's a great privilege for all of us to have with us a great expert in the field of Ayurveda, Dr. Prathima Nagesh. And she is the director of the Agnihealth Center in the United Kingdom. And Dr. Prathima Nagesh obtained her degree from SDM College of Ayurveda, Udupi in India, and she also specialized in Panchakarma, and also she was trained in clinical research from Harvard Medical School 2 years back. And she is practicing Ayurveda in United Kingdom and Europe for more than 12 years. And she has a clinic in Essex, in the United Kingdom, and also in Canary Wharf in London. She is visiting lecturer and expert Vaidya at schools, academies, colleges in United Kingdom and France. And she has presented papers and given talks on Ayurveda in many international conferences and institutes in India and Europe. And she has a great love for Ayurveda from her early age. And this put her in a way to research in depth about Ayurveda and researching more and more and bringing deeper values of knowledge of Ayurveda, and especially how to fit Ayurveda with the modern medicine approach. And this is very important because today the times are different than 2000 years back. And people have different lifestyles and many things are different. So we need to see how to adapt Ayurveda to this time. And for this, Dr. Prathima Nagesh made great research in that field, and we congratulate her for all accomplishments. And now I would like our dear Honorable Manohar Lalji, the Second Secretary of the Ambassador of India in Croatia, to greet our dear guest.
Good afternoon, respected Jadranko ji. It is our honor to have with us Dr. Prathima Nagesh ji, who is a Ayurveda doctor from India and serving in UK in London for the last 14-15 years. So she is not only treating people, she is also educating. She is preparing hundreds of new Ayurveda doctors. So it is our duty to promote her, to support her. She is doing welfare for the health of our planet. So now I give to our Jadranko Sarji to do the rest of the things. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Manohar ji. And please, Dr. Prathima Nagesh, enlighten us with your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Aranko ji, and thank you, Manohar ji. I'll start sharing the screen. And I hope you can all see my screen, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. And I don't know, it's what Aranko was thinking when he gave me this mammoth topic of Ayurveda and autoimmune disorders. I'll try to do justice as much as possible. As the reason why I say mammoth topic is every year, because I am in this field since I started studying Ayurveda, if I think, that is more than 25 years. So I am practicing Ayurveda nearly 20 years. It's just yet to cross the 20. So, but every year with every patient, I'm learning a lot about how to treat autoimmune diseases and how to how Ayurveda thinks about it. Because every year when I go back and read, I find a new information on this, because which is already there, written few thousands of years ago, but we haven't seen it in that light. So I hope most of the people know what is Ayurveda and what is autoimmunity, everything. Thinking like that, I will go ahead. Okay, first, how does Ayurveda look at human body? This is the major difference between other medical sciences and Ayurveda. So why we can't have a direct correlation from, okay, this disease in the allopathy or this disease in the homeopathy, whatever, or Chinese, that's exactly equal to this disease in Ayurveda. Why? Let's take about the allopathy, because that is the common primary healthcare around the Europe. So how they look into the human body. So anatomy is the primary subject. So they will see what each and every organ is. Then the physiology comes. How does it work? So that is, physiology is a secondary science. But for us in Ayurveda, anatomy is a secondary thing. So for us, what Vata, Pitta, Kapha do? They are the basic. Even if we go even further, Pancha Mahabhutas are the basic. But what are they? Are they physical characters? No, they are the physiological things. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or the Pancha Mahabhutas are present in each and every cell. And even if you look into the cell, go inside, yes, mitochondria, let's take mitochondria alone. It has got again Vata, Pitta, Kapha inside it. So we assess a human body in the name of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which are the physiological factors. So we saw Vata, Pitta, Kapha. From them, we are going to see the human body. The way how we look at is a bit different than others. That's why we really technically can't kind of name, okay, this disease equal to this disease in Ayurveda. Technically can't name that. But we are doing certain things like this disease almost equal to this disease in Ayurveda for our research purpose. But for the real technical purpose, that is not possible. The reason is the way how Ayurveda looks into human body is from the physiology eyes, from the eyes of physiology. So what is autoimmunity? Next question. Because these are the basic question. If we don't answer, we can't go further into this topic. So in simple words, autoimmunity is our body, your own body thinks some part of your body is attacking it. Like if some part of your body is not ours. Our own part is attacking another part. That is the simplest form of explaining the autoimmunity. Of course, then is again the different levels of autoimmunity is there. Is it about one of the joint, or autoimmunity might be just left to one small hormone, or autoimmunity might be one particular enzyme, or autoimmunity might be for one organ, whatever it is functioning, that whole thing body considers it's not a part of the body. So depending on the grade, different autoimmune diseases are there. And as per Ayurveda, what is autoimmunity? Can we put one sentence for immunity in Ayurveda? If you learn very deep into Ayurveda, definitely not. You can't put one sentence or a one word for a immunity in Ayurveda. Yes, Vyadhi Kshamatva, that is explained. Then Ojas is explained. And then the normal kapha function is explained. All these do the immunity. And then there is Agni is explained, which is Agni is the digestive fire in the simplest form of the translation. That can also be used for the having the proper immunity. All these factors are required to have the proper immunity. In other words, having the proper balance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha plus the digestive fire or the Agni for the whatever the balance you are born with, keeping the Prakriti Sthapana, that will keep you out of autoimmunity. But what is this autoimmunity in Ayurveda? How Ayurveda looks into it and what we can do, that is what I'm going to talk about in few. Yes. So here comes what is autoimmunity. There is a huge concept explained in Ayurveda called ama. So what is the ama means? If you get a literary translation, ama means which is uncooked or unripened. So where is it and what is it? Because I am a teacher, I do teach Ayurveda. I always say this, some of my teachers used to say this, once you are a teacher, you're a lifelong teacher. I didn't understand as a student, but over 1.5 decades in this career, I know now. So I turned to become a teacher mode as a always like a default mode. If I go like that, if you feel bored, just let me know. I'll come back to a practitioner mode immediately because it's just two different hats I wear, that's all. They are interconnected. Why I say this is, most common mistakes, most of the students I do or young practitioners I've seen they do is ama equal to kapha or the ama equal to abnormal kapha. Is that right? Can anybody answer? I can see I know some of the names who are into Ayurveda. Not everybody, I know at least a few of you. Anybody wants to answer this question? Okay, I'll go ahead. Ama equal to abnormal kapha? No, definitely not. Okay, and then what is ama? As I told you, the literary translation is hinting at something. That is, it is unripened or uncooked. That means it is the simplest explanation is in terms of the present allopathic side of the physiology, it is the not the absorption or the prepared, the not proper end product of the digestion. Because, for example, let's take protein. Protein molecules, whatever we take, has to get down into only few kind of molecules which can be useful to the body. But if you eat proteins in the wrong way or too much quantity, or you don't have enough digestive juices working on it, these things in some people can cause the molecules broken down into the similar molecules, but which is not useful for the body. So in other words, there is another concept that is called free radicals, which are the hungry molecules gets into the other molecules and makes them not useful to the body. So this can be either the not so good digestive end product or the free radicals. That is the nearest combination you can think of. Then where is this ama? Is it in the, yes, I said it is the an improper digestive end product. So is it in the digestive system? Yes. And that is it? No. Because we have to know this concept very, very well to understand the autoimmunity. Because if the digestion impairment is stuck to the digestion, it's just for the digestion, remember. You can sort it out quite easily. It doesn't lead you to autoimmunity straight away. But from there, it goes into the body through the ahara rasa and then to the rasa dhatu, which is the first dhatu, or then to any of the dhatus. Meanwhile, it can do some more things. To get into there, there are a few more channels to go ahead. So this ama, where is it? Where it is located? Actually, kind of the key factor, what kind of autoimmunity you might have, or what kind of, how deep is your disease as per Ayurveda, or how difficult it is to manage. That is how it goes in. So where is it? Where this ama is present is the key factor for understanding the autoimmunity in Ayurveda. So it's not only the digestive system. So where else it can be? Other agnis. That is the bhutagni and the dhatu agnis. So what are they? They are in the metabolic form. During the metabolism, there is so much of changes happens. So that there you can have ama. Because we are feeding too much and the metabolism is not okay. That is the place of another set of ama for me. That is a bit deeper and even deeper. That is the where the hormones are prepared and the enzymes are prepared. So when we go to the enzymes, that is, we come to the tissue level, each and every dhatu agnis. And the bhutagni, because bhutagni has to act to have the dhatus to get the proper amount of the share. Okay, so it might be in the metabolism level, or it might be in the hormonal or the enzymal level. So it's bhutagni, dhatvagni. So they are having the problem. So they can produce a improper end product, that is a ama. When this ama is formed, what does it do? So we call it, where is ama? One is the 3 levels of the 3 different agnis. And then where is it? Is it with the doshas? This is why I said it's not only kapha. So we have got a classification. If you are studying Ayurveda or you're already an Ayurveda practitioner, you know this classification. That is, we call as Samavata. That is, sa means with, ama, vata. Vata, which is one of the major doshas, is with the ama. Ama has attached to the vata. So it is making the vata to function abnormally. So it can be vata, pitta, kapha, any one of them, or all of them, depending on the severity of the disease. And then sama dhatus, that means each and every tissues can have it. So in deciding whenever you get you're treating any autoimmune disease, another word we have to say, we are treating autoimmune disease, that's absolutely a wrong statement we are saying. We are managing it. Why? I'll explain you in a bit. So first we are, where is it? Deals with the one, maybe the chronicity, or the how gambira, or the deeper the disease is in kind of that condition. I know this is about a very technical explanation. So let's try to go into a little bit more easier. Before going to the treatment, sorry. A few things about, yes, where is ama? We found it. And what is about it? Is it with all kind of autoimmune diseases? Yes. And all these come on only ama? Definitely not. Remember, other things we have to manage in the autoimmune disease is definitely doshas. And why we say it is, we are just managing it. Remember, this ama has got also another thing to act, that is it acts as a visha, like a slow poison. So where and all we are getting it in today's world, all these processed food items, how much we eat, we don't even see the preservatives put in that so many times. Everybody has one guilty pleasure. I'm not saying I'm very good at eating. I do sometimes. I'm a human. I go for we go for eating something which has got the preservatives. There, unknowingly, we are putting our body, we are like stuffing our body with the things which can easily produce the ama. This kind of ama works as a very slow poison. It is like a garavisha, a very slow food poison. That's also a kind of ama. And then where else we get this? Plastics. These are the things we expose ourselves knowingly. If you are Ayurveda student, you know prajna parada, that is doing the things, wrong things knowingly. We do this and get ourselves more exposed to ama. So we all exposed to ama, but I haven't got anything. So you can say that, yes, you haven't got anything because you have been lucky. One, you haven't got any genetic predisposition. If you have a genetic predisposition, yes, you'd get the autoimmunity quickly. And then two, you doesn't have to have like immediate or a super strong genetic predisposition, but you expose yourself to these kind of ama, keep all these not so good things in your body for a long time. What will happen? These things keep on waiting in the body. I always tell my patients this one thing, this autoimmunity is something like a person who remembers what you do. It's like always with the, I am the controller. I'm going to do whatever I want to with this body. That's a kind of a behavior it has. So it's like kind of an opportunistic behavior. So this ama is formed, is going to wait in the body for the time when your body is weak. It finds the opportunity, and where it is weak, it strikes there. It goes there, sits there, causes the disease. That's how some people get autoimmunity very badly. Some people get very less. Some people will understand it very quickly. And then one more thing, it's clearly told in the text, within the year of starting of the disease, if you try, you can completely cure it. But more than 80% of the time, we don't even realize we are going towards this road of autoimmunity. Even like a small scale autoimmunity, which starts in the later part of the life. I'm not talking about the kids born with autoimmunity. Here I'm talking about the people who develop the autoimmune disease either in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. So why don't we find it? We don't give importance to the body. That's where the treatment aspects come. So what we have to think of. So always start with the Agni or the digestive fire. Why? Whatever the depth of the ama is, first you don't correct the absorption. The herbs you are giving are not going to get absorbed. So start with the Jataragni. Then the same way, Jatra Agni, Dhatu Agni, Bhuta Agni, depending on the order you want to go, you can go in deep. This is what I'm saying for the Ayurvedic practitioners. So for non-practitioners, I'll tell you, what can you do? First thing, if you have autoimmunity, whatever the kind of autoimmunity, you have to have one mantra in your life. That is, eat light and easily digestible food. That is a mantra always. Don't overeat. Don't eat before the previous food is digested. Listen, this mistake all of us have done. Think you have gone out, had a lovely lunch. You ate up to here, not up to here. You ate up to here. We love to overfeed. It was so yummy. You ate it. Came back. You're feeling very tired. You will have a siesta. But classically, Europeans, we are used to siesta. I know, but siesta is only 15 minutes, remember, and not immediately after the food. You have to have minimum 100 to 200 steps, vigorous. Then only you can have 10 to 15 minutes of siesta if you have a real huge dinner, because you are really tired. But what is our siesta? We, in the name of siesta, what we do nowadays? Go in today's world. There are many people eating a lot. Go and sleep for a couple of hours. We make our digestive system even sluggish. This is a complete no-no. And this sluggish system, but you get it's time for dinner. You do some of your work and everything. Then it's time for dinner. What you do? Go and eat, because it's time to eat. But did you really needed to eat? Because you haven't digested properly. So what happens inside? It is like you have cooked something halfway and you are adding the raw food to it. Then cooking and saying why they are not cooked uniformly. This is the same kind of thing we are doing to our stomach. This is a definite no-no. This is a mistake all of us might have done at least once in our life. So once you are aware of it, please don't do this. And the best thing is to eat light, digestible food, and when you are really hungry, you have digested the previous food. Okay, that is the mantra you have to follow irrespective of the autoimmunity. Okay, and then of course, depending on your autoimmunity, we go into a different kind of the treatment protocols. But there are certain protocols which are compulsory for them. So first thing is the Langana. Langana is of different patterns. It might be following the fasting. So again, I'm coming to a popular diet of now or the today. That is like a intermittent fasting. So you can't do intermittent fasting, but if you are of certain particular prakriti, for example, you have a pitta prakriti with a Tikshna Agni, or with a strong dominant vata mind, you find it very difficult to control your mind or your desires, that kind of a mind you have. So what are you going to do? It's going to go here and there, that kind of a mind. You have the intermittent fasting. You have fasted very well for 16 hours or 18 hours. Then when you are eating, you overeat. By overeating, you nullify the good effects of this fasting. So that's why such a beautiful method of intermittent fasting is not suitable for everybody. This is where Ayurveda says a same medicine might not be useful for everybody at the same person at the second time, because how your mind state is. But doing fasting is good if it's suitable for you. It might be 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, depending on that. Or fasting once a week, fasting fortnightly, those kind of things are very useful. And another thing is the light food. If you can't fast, don't worry. Light and digestible food, that is a good thing. And if you don't have gastric irritation, then ginger or trikatu are your best friends in the kitchen. Remember. And spices, always the moderate use. All different spices are good, but in the moderation. Don't go heavy on one kind of spice. This is the next kind of a mantra you have to follow with all kind of autoimmunity. Then which spice suits you when? This is better asked by with an advice of an Ayurvedic Vaidya. Okay. Then next thing in the Langana is the Langana Pachana. That is, you are eating the light food with the digestible herbs or the spices. It can be you add it as a herbs, as a supplement, or you can add some spices. And the best action here is, again, it changes from the case to case. The best way to give it is in the food form. Remember, food as medicine practice is very, very effective method in case of the autoimmunity, because it needs to be managed for quite a long time. So giving in the food form is really good. You give the herbs, which can be, rather than the supplements, tablets, and all those things, turned into food, part of their recipes. That makes a better, helps you with a better progression or better maintaining of their digestion and the metabolism than giving the pills and the like herbal supplements in different forms. Okay. Then next is the treatments, or our Ayurveda, that is without Panchakarma, there is no Ayurveda, we say. Can all the treatments are great for autoimmunity? Definitely not. Here, when you give the treatment, when you touch the oil, that makes a big, big difference. So if in one place, when there is a blockage, while explaining the formulations about the blockage or the Margavarana, Charaka says one thing: if you touch the oil not in the right time, there is a blockage or there is not, the pathway is not correct. If you put the oil on the patient's body, what will happen? The disease, which might go down now, but it comes back anywhere between 2 months to 4 years with the more severity, because it is going to suppress, but at the same time, it's going to wait to come back with the, you are not able to take it out. Remember, that's the reason so many times you are not supposed to use the oil always. So when to put the oil is very, very crucial in the sense of the autoimmunity. So what kind of treatment has to be done in the early stages? Or you think there is a lot of very active disease is there. In other words, in a very active disease, what are we going to do is the simplest thing. There are set of treatments where there is no oil is involved. We use the herbs in the form of application. There is different ways of using the herbs on your body. Skin is our largest organ, remember, it's exposed outside. Use that for the absorption of the herbs. This is a very, very, very efficient method. Again, what we are using, what herbs to use, sometimes they can be a simple herb which is available in the kitchen, which you go and buy or you grow in the garden. From there to where maybe a supplement we have to buy, like a proper herbs then. So it varies, but they act better in this condition. And then next is, we do use quite a lot of the heat treatments. without the application of oil. They do really good. So I do say this again and again as a teacher, as a practitioner to my patients and my students that don't touch the oil in the autoimmune cases straight away. You have to make sure patient is ready for the oil. So how to check? Ayurveda has a way of checking this that is called Upashaya Anupashaya Chikitsa. You will give it a little bit slowly and check is it okay or not. So you touch the water and see the temperature. That's the same way what we do. So what we do is you apply the oil in one place where either on certain marmas to stimulate on the head or foot, something like that. So you have balanced the vata there because vata balance is a crucial factor here. We have done that. At the same time, we will get an idea. What we get? If the autoimmunity is related to the joint, the oil, it's not going to be still ready for the use of the oil. What will happen? You will have a mild, very, very mild stiffness in the joint. If the autoimmunity is related to the skin, you will see the mild increase of the symptoms. So within a couple of days, you will see that. And you have to be very, very vigilant. If you are not sure, you want to start the oil. So because a small change also kind of a warning bell there, remember. But in a very extreme case, go for Upashaya and Upashaya if you're a practitioner. Otherwise, don't go for it. Usually, the experienced practitioners don't go for this method until they are 99% sure there is no ama there. They can go for patient is ready for the oil application. Okay. The why I'm stressing on this, day by day in my practice, I do see people applying oil without thinking and getting into the disease, comes down for a while and then comes back with a real strong sense. Okay. And then now we are talking about the hurdles. So what are the hurdles we have in this practice of managing the autoimmune disease? First thing, most of our patients are already on somebody else's care that is from their prime. Remember, in Europe, every country's healthcare system is the primary healthcare provider. They are already under somebody else's as their primary physician. We are helping them out. So as per their primary physician or an immunologist, they will be having some the medicines. What medicines they might be having? They might be having the steroids, or even in the beginning, they might be having some like simple painkillers, symptom elevators, those kind of things. That is not much of a problem when you are giving any food or herbal supplement. But when they are on the steroids or when they are on the DMRDs, disease modifying drugs, that is like methotrexate and that whole set there, and the newer generation of the bio medicines, these three, we have to be very careful what herbs we are giving. Remember that. Why I'm saying is there is definitely, and even with the food, there are certain food articles you are expecting to work as a food, as a medicine, which can be used by every day. They have kind of an interaction. Why? See, these two things work on the same cause, but if they are, one is working on this direction, one is working from this direction, what will have? Definitely they cross the path. If they cross the path on the opposite direction, what they do? The simple thing, the way how the straight line work, they cross, they nullify each other. So what happens is we just make the things worse. We are not helping the patient there. So have to be very careful while doing this. So you might need a little bit of a more knowledge on how the steroids or DMRDs work and how our herbs are working. This is where the Vaidya's expertise comes from. And it is always a little bit difficult to deal with, I know. And I openly say, Ayurveda doesn't have any problem, any no interactions. I don't agree with that. Because whatever has action, definitely it works. Of course, whatever the angle it works with the reason, right? It tries to do its action properly. So what is its aim? Let's take our famous Guruji, which is one herbs for the autoimmunity. Okay, but it has got also, it nullifies quite a lot of effects of the chemical drugs, where the patient will end up with either the higher the dose of the chemicals will go, and unknowingly we will increase the dose of Guruji. So we have to be very careful how we give Guruji and what mode of administration we do, because in Ayurveda, it's not only the oral. We have got the nose, we have nasal route of administration, we have got the rectal route of administration, and we have got the skin, the dermal route of administration. So everything does a different way of action. Does it goes the pathway going through the digestion and then go to the liver for the Bhutagni, or directly reaching to the Bhutagni, or directly reaching to the organ we want, especially using the nasal route of administration. So that comes handy when you know what chemical supplements or the chemical medication the patient is on. This is where you have to be very careful, or where the Vaidya's expertise come in handy with. And lastly, when you see that patient needs one more thing, that is the rejuvenation. You have stopped the autoimmunity. Now you have to help the body to function normally. And for this, rasayanas come to help. So for rasayana, you doesn't need to do a huge, because we almost never do the kuti praveshika nowadays. Nobody has got a time to take 6 months off, stay in a kuti, not even a 1 month off away from our, the internet, electronic world, at least, and stay completely, look after your body completely out of any contact from the Western world, outside world. No, that's highly rare to say. So we go for Vatatapika. So Vatatapika means everyday use of rasayanas. There are different herbs. You can either use them in the leha form or the jam form, or use them in the powder form, or use them in the fresh juice form. There are different ways to use, or you can use them in the concentrated form. The potentiated, that's what we say, by giving the bhavana, that's what we say in Ayurveda, by saturating it with the same herbs juice again and again, making it more stronger, is my favorite way of administering the rasayanas. Once you know autoimmunity is under control, we have to put them on the rasayanas. So, and in the middle of this, you would have taken through a proper panchakarma procedure, which involves oil application, everything, when the patient is ready for the oil application. But in the beginning, no. If you are a patient or a young practitioner of Ayurveda, my advice is don't directly jump into apply any kind of oil. It might be really strong oil, which is advised in the Avarina Vyadis also. Still, don't go for it. Unknowingly, you might harm the patient a bit later. And then one more analogy, I always say this to my patients, that is once you have autoimmunity in the body, that is, you have got a monster. It is not doing anything, means it's a sleeping monster. We don't want that sleeping monster to be awake. So there is something called a maintenance, which is we are going back to the line 1 of our treatment. That is not letting any ama or unwanted thing to get accumulated in the body. So exercise properly, it might be in the form of yoga or other kind of exercises. I prefer yoga and I prefer some pranayamas every day, some meditation every day. And the next thing is the eat light and digestible food. So this is the yoga, which comes with the asana, pranayama, and dhyana. That's like a one package of yoga. And then the food. The light digestible food has to be there. Your mantra once you have controlled the autoimmunity to stay fit and healthy. Hope I am able to convey how to understand the autoimmunity, what you have to do to control the autoimmunity in the simple words as much as possible. And thanks for this opportunity. And if you have any questions, we are open for questions now.
So, Dr. Prathima, it was a beautiful lecture. And I know that that topic is rarely touched in the sense of understanding from the point of Ayurveda. And even the modern medicine, Western medicine also, they still are researching a lot in that field. But the way you explained, you gave us basics, how to prevention. The prevention is better than cure. And even if there is some disorder, then we should go back to the knowledge of prevention, because then we are on a safe line and it will help. The healthy way of life, the healthy way of life. And this is, we need to come back to our, the way how we should live from many, many years back, the way the life should be. And this is the memory, or we should remember what the life should be, like a smriti, the smriti aspect, and the life should be bliss. And that pragya paradha should not happen. That
that's the most difficult task, Yadago.
Yes.
Not pragya paradha.
Yes, that we should remember our true nature, who we are, that we are not just a victim of asmita or our wrong identity, and from there all problems continues. So we need to come back to ourselves, to realize our true nature and work in that direction from the point of view, as you said, the practice of for the body, for the breath, for the mind, for to normalize the functions of our body on all levels, and then reaching that state of consciousness which can open that reality to us, and then the life will really becomes something else, something wonderful, and then there is no enemy. In that sense,
it is us complicating the life, actually.
Yes,
we have got a quite Earth has got given us quite a lot of good things, but it is us complicating it.
Yes, thank you. So please, everybody who like to ask any question, you are welcomed.
Or you want me to explain about any particular autoimmune disease? That's fine. I will give a short explanation on that also. because it's a huge topic. I didn't address on any particular autoimmunities right away.
Yes, so one question is
Yes,
here.
Sarala.
Sorry, I cannot switch on my camera for some
It's
reason.
okay.
It's okay. This is a very general question, I guess. You were talking about the food that we eat in the street, you know, and living a modern life that comes with all the preservatives or plastic and these things. And of course, we try to avoid it, but if we eat it, is there something you could recommend us as a herb that helps the body evacuate this faster? For example, I hear people talking of cilantro and chlorella or spirulina, these things. Yes, thank
Yeah. Listen, rather than taking one particular herb and detoxing your liver, it is better to do a yearly panchakarma, yearly Ayurvedic detox, which can be done. You doesn't need to go to India, remember, which can be done even in here, Croatia, or even in any other part of Europe. You can do it there itself, because luckily we have got enough Ayurvedic experts and around the Europe. All you have to do is you have to spend 3 weeks for that. Slowly we will prepare the body. We take all the toxins together and take it out. The most simple and the easy method of this to do is a Ayurvedic purgation that is called Virechana. That is a natural detox with all the Ayurvedic herbs and all. And that can be easily done in the Europe. Quite a lot of Ayurveda experts doing that. I would advise for that rather than going for those small detox. That's again, you're clearing on the top. You're not touching the bottom.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, because if you have got a jar, this big jar, you're just clearing here by those juice and all those things. But it is better to clear the whole jar.
Yes, I see. That makes lots of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's why Ayurveda always advises yearly one Shodhana or the one main Panchakarma for a healthy person to keep your health. Because as I told, not doing Prajna Parada in today's world is the most difficult task. Yeah.
Yes, I have one question. Maybe
Yes, Radhanko.
is there, because today the panchakarma as it is done classically with all the procedures, now it's promoted for all the people that it's very beneficial. But is there maybe some cases which can be contraindication for the treatment?
Yes.
That
Yes, that's what I was telling you,
individually.
Yes, because it has to be, that's what I said. Panchakarma yearly once is advised for a healthy person who doesn't have any underlying diagnosed disease. Okay, that is the base. And then if you have the autoimmunity, as I told you before, your Ayurveda Vaidya has to prepare you. And in my experience in this field, sometimes this preparation might go for a couple of years, or sometimes more than that also. There are few cases where we have to prepare for 4 or 5 years before able to do a proper classical Panchakarma. So that is a very important thing. And then when you have got the active disease, no classical Panchakarma. This is not allowed there. And then you have a very active or a not so well controlled diabetes. You're not fit for some of the Panchakarma, not all. We have to maintain your blood sugar and then get you to do that. Okay. Same thing goes for the blood pressure also, because those two are part of our today's lifestyle. The major contraindication comes there also. You have to be careful. And there is one more thing I would suggest you. You travel few thousand kilometers or miles to either from one side to another side of the Europe, or from Europe to India. You do the Panchakarma and then travel back. This is absolutely contraindication as per Ayurveda. Once you do this detox, you have to take rest. If you do some Panchakarma for 1 week, 1 week of rest is required. You are not allowed to do the travel. That is a contraindication with the Panchakarma. Remember, these things you have to follow, not to have the autoimmune disease. Because this is another quite common thing I say to, I teach to my students quite a lot. Don't make sure your patients don't do this mistake. They will travel, they'll do a nice classical Panchakarma. What they do is, after that, they finish this Panchakarma in a very classical center in India. Then, once they are discharged from the center, they go on a tourism. That is not allowed. They have to still stay in a relaxing mode for at least a week. That's not going to happen. So many people even travel back. What happens is, after this detox, remember, your body is empty. There is a part of your body which has all the toxins that is all emptied out. Then you do a long haul flight, let's take that, or you do travel on the tourism. What happens? That empty place is filled up by the vata, because this travel increases the vata. So you don't get anything now. As I told you, the same mistake happens the same way like you applying the oil when this is not the time to touch the oil for the autoimmunity. Same way, this increased vata, which is going to wait, we have the opportunity. Next winter comes and this disease says, hi, I'm still here. That's what happens. So when you do the Panchakarma, make sure you take enough rest afterwards. Don't do a lot of traveling immediately after any of the treatments. Of course, then individualistic contraindication come with every patient, what they are fit for. And you might have done one treatment at the age of 20 when you had the same symptom, but when, at the age of 45, you have the same symptom, but your Vaidya might not agree with that treatment. The reason is, at the age of 20, you are shifting from Kapha to Pitta stage. But in the age of 45 to 48, you are shifting from Pitta to Vata side. So your body's way of acting changes, and the dosha's normal balance changes inside that. And all these 20 years of life, there's so many things happen that might have changed a few things inside the body. So same treatment for the same person in 2 different decades might not go well also. It is very individualistic. Hope I have answered your question, Adanko.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we will all be very happy to have you, to listen to you longer time and many more time again and again, because you have such a reliable knowledge. And
Thank you.
as a real scientist, everything you work, you studied, you checked, you practiced and everything, and you came to the conclusions which are, we can say, the 21st century Ayurveda, like Charaka. I think now is the time to establish these protocols and everything according to this age. And it's expanding. Everything is, there are some basic things which are basis of all universe as some basic principles, how the life is structured and how it is guided and everything, which is ensuring the the proper health and how the nature of life should be. But in the disruption of that state, there is a big creativity and big variety of possibilities to handle. So then
Yes.
that's why Ayurvedic doctor must have at the same time great stability in the ancient knowledge and great flexibility of application of that knowledge in the in this temporarily situations, and combining this with different treatments, because some people are undergoing the difficult diseases, if they have cancer or this or that, different treatments. And then you need to see how you can help from the side of Ayurveda also along with those treatments, but not that they nullify each other, you know, the effect of these medicines. So it's a still big field for research and work.
Yes, and there is a lot of work is started. There's a huge amount of work started already around the world. India as the leader, obviously, because there's a huge amount of experts in India. That's why. And yes, hopefully in a few years we have more data to produce. Okay,
Yes,
this is the number,
big
because
expansion.
that's how the present world works, right? That's why.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now in the October, on the 23rd is International Day of Ayurveda. So we will devote all October to Ayurveda and getting more knowledge from those fields. And the next one Zoom seminar, the webinar we will have on the 3rd of October, it will be about the Ayurveda and Vedic agriculture. So how to grow proper the food items without pesticides and in the Vedic way of nourishing the process of growing of the herbs and the plants, so that they have more ojas in their structure and will be that they are more beneficial. So I am using this opportunity to invite everybody to join that webinar at the same time on the 3rd of October also. But we will for sure continue and see some other topics. And you are here in Croatia, and you are very much welcomed by everybody, and many people will benefit from your presence and knowledge.
Thank you. And I know we didn't have enough time for the question and answer. If you have any question, please ask me outside this. I'm happy to answer.
Yes. Yes, still we can have one question if somebody wants to ask. We have still time to, if you have time, just for one.
It is fine, I have time.
Yes, one more question. Yes. So,
okay then.
Okay, thank you very much. And so we are very happy to see you again. Thank you, and thank everybody for participation, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.